Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Crystal Domain. Today is a special day because it is Johan or Jesse Anderson's birthday. And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in general has a special place in my heart and is my biggest attachment to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. Very formulative of my childhood along with the card game itself. But Jesse Johan in particular is by far my favorite character. Very formative to what kind of decks I like to play in this game. And of course, has been a key part of my identity here in the domain format. So, to celebrate this special occasion, we're going to do a deck profile for my Dark Crystal Beasts deck. This is a mixture of the Crystal Beast, the advanced Crystal Beast, and a small but efficient package of the Yubel cards. Very fitting to the time in the anime when Johan or Jesse was taken over by Yubel, and that was when we got the Dark Crystal Beast. It's where we had Yubel, taking over Jaden's quote-unquote best friend. And, of course, very iconic moments in the series. And why not mix those together in a domain deck profile that will be powerful, take over the game at times, give you very efficient wins, and you get to be the bad guy at the table. And who doesn't want to be the villain sometimes? So let's just jump right in to this deck profile. So, starting us off, we're going to go card by card. So, we have Yubel Terror Incarnate. This is the second iteration of Yubel. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by Yubel. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Before damage calc, when this face-up attack position card is attacked by an opponent's monster, you'll inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. And then during the end phase, destroy all other monsters on the field. When this card face-up leaves the field, you can special summon one Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare, from your hand, deck, or graveyard. We are actually not playing the Ultimate Nightmare, mostly because it is kind of inferior to Terror Incarnate or even regular Yubel. I do find Ultimate Incarnate, or Ultimate Nightmare, to be a disappointing card, and instead we flipped around some cards for other interesting things in our kit. Next, we have our Rainbow Dragon package. We have Rainbow Dark and regular Rainbow Dragon. Rainbow Dark Dragon is always treated as an Ultimate Crystal card, which fits the archetypes of our Deckmaster, which is Crystal and Ultimate Crystal. Therefore, we get access to the Rainbow Dragon cards. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 7 dark monsters with different names from grave. And then you can banish all other dark monsters from your field and grave. And this card will gain 500 attack for each card banished this way. It is a alternative to getting out a Ultimate Crystal card, and that way we can access our fusion monsters if we don't have access to Rainbow Dragon itself. We overextend, we have more than 7 Crystal Beast card names in grave, field, etc. Graveyard. Then Rainbow Dark doesn't care, it just wants dark monsters, which will be the advanced cards, or all Crystal Beasts under Advanced Dark, as well as every other monster in this deck, except for like 1 or 2, because we do get access to Dark, hence why we are running a Yubel package, among other things in here. Rainbow Dragon, it is the face of our archetype. It cannot be special summoned, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 7 Crystal Beast cards with different names on your field and or graveyard. This card cannot activate the following effects the turn it is special summoned. That is a detriment. It cannot trigger its ability the turn it's summoned. They nerfed it in comparison to the anime version. It's unfortunate, but it's what we deal with. This card cannot activate the following effects. Quick effect, you could send all face-up Crystal Beast monsters you control to the grave, and it will gain 1,000 attack for each monster sent to the graveyard. And then you can banish all Crystal Beast monsters from your grave to shuffle all cards on the field into the deck, a rare style of board wipe that has become very synonymous with the Crystal Beast strategy, to either bounce cards to hand or to shuffle everything into the deck or extra deck. Very powerful because it denies resources, as well as sending stuff back to the extra deck does rip resources out of Xyz monsters. Sending them back to deck means, you're not guaranteed to draw it, so very meaningful ways of removal that bypass destruction protection and things like that. Because it doesn't target, this also bypasses most protection of your biggest boss monsters, which is very good. Spirit of Yubel cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no damage from battles involving this card. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon one of your Yubel that is banished or in your hand, deck, or graveyard. This card basically acts as a hand trap of sorts, a battle trap. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can summon it from hand, and if it is special summoned, you can add to your hand or set one spell and trap from your deck that mentions Yubel. This gets us the rest of our kit, our Nightmare Pain, it gets us our Eternal Favorite, it gets us any of the Yubel spell and traps. It also, on destruction, will rip out another Yubel from literally anywhere, nearly. Actually anywhere. Banish, hand, deck, or grave. This will get us Yubel or Terror Incarnate. It'll also get, this could get the fusions if they are in Banish or Graveyard, which is also nice. So this is our battle trap of sorts. It gets itself out. You want to destroy this card, you're going to find ways to destroy this card. The replacement for Ultimate Nightmare is a neat nod to the manga, Tragodia. So in the GX manga, Jesse does not play the Crystal Beasts. He plays a insect deck, which I'll be making a deck profile of in inspiration of manga Jesse. And in that deck, in that moment where he does play the insect deck in the manga, he is taken over by Tragodia, which the anime did a slight nod to in how Jesse gets taken over by Yubel. So Tragodia is another giant 10-star 0/0 attack fiend, which does synergize with our 0 attack, 0 defense other fiends that trigger off of Dark Beckoning Beast and the other cards in this deck that want that attack line. So Tragodia is when you take battle damage, you can special summon this from your hand. It will gain 600 attack and defense for each card in your hand. Once per turn, you can send a monster from your hand to the grave, and then target a face-up monster your opponent controls with the same level the sent monster had in the hand. Take control of that face-up monster. Once per turn, you can target one monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes the same as that target's. That's the end of this turn. This can work with, like, Xyz plays, even though the 2 Xyz monsters we are playing work with our kit of 10-star monsters. Typhon as alternate summoning conditions. So, Tragodia, it's a nice nod to the manga, and it fits our theming. Original Yubel can't be destroyed. You take no battle damage from battles involving it. It inflicts damage back to the opponent equal to the monster's attack if it is attacked by an opponent's monster. During the end phase, you can tribute one other monster or destroy this card, and when it is destroyed, except by its own effect, you can special summon one Yubel, Terror Incarnate from hand, deck, or grave. It levels itself up to the next one. This card will be frequently bounced around by the other Yubel effects. It'll get resummoned, it'll get abused, it'll get destroyed for its effects, etc. Synonymous with the strategy. Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon is part of our extender in order to get more things in play for Link plays. If this face-up card is destroyed, it goes to Spell and Trap as a Crystal Beast does. Then, when an attack is declared involving a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon this from hand. This can help close out a game if it is in hand and you haven't used it for an extension yet. Easy 3k beater, just put it out into play. Then you can banish it as a continuous spell to special summon a level 4 or lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but negate its effects if it has any. And if you do, you add a ultimate crystal monster from deck to your hand. This will allow you to get access to Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark if you want to just get them both out of the deck. This is part of the extenders, usually done with the Sapphire Pegasus line. That is on our DM, so this will not be as frequently done, but it'll normally be done, like, usually it'll be done once per game, based on our Deckmaster, always having access to all of our spell and traps. So, then we have the Dark-type Kaiju. We know what Kaijus are. You eat a monster, you put it into play. This allows you to get over annoying cards. We're running the Dark-type Kaiju because of our domain, and that is the only one we are running. Then a fun, neat tech card is Adalaria of the June Moon. This is a level 5 water spellcaster. Because Crystal Master is a spellcaster, this fits our domain. If you control a face-up card in your spell and trap card zone, you can special summon this card from hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. It will gain 600 attack and defense for each face-up spell and trap on the field. This counts all 4 players, so this card will get extremely large. Then, you could send 2 face-up cards from your hand, from your spell and trap card zone to the grave and send a level 4 or lower monster from deck to the grave. This allows us to mill some of our brickier crystal beasts. This strategy, it synergizes well with what we're doing and gives us a meaningful beat stick where a lot of decks will be having a back row in domain. There are 4 players at the table. This card can get extremely big and, could just close out an opponent based on dumb beat stick hit face. The advanced version of Sapphire Pegasus, all of the advanced crystal beasts destroy if there is not an advanced dark in play. They just automatically rip themselves up to the grave. If this card is summoned, you can place one of your advanced Crystal Beast monsters that is banished or in hand, deck or grave, face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. They also all have the same effect of the other Crystal Beasts, where if they are destroyed, they are sent to the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell, if you want them to. This one, the advanced Crystal Beasts are an extension of the deck because then we get 2 sets of the Crystal Beasts to play with. However, these ones are xenophobic in that they are exclusive to each other, that advanced summons advanced, where Crystal Beasts generically summon any of them. So there is the important separation of advanced target each other. Crystal Beasts in general target all of them, including advanced. Sapphire Pegasus, same thing. It summons a Crystal Beast monster from hand, deck, or grave. It cannot target banish. This is a repeatable effect, so it is good as a DM. We've opted in a different direction for a broader domain to get the Yubel cards. However, Sapphire Pegasus, very good DM if you are opting to play this deck. My main deck that isn't the dark version runs Sapphire Pegasus as the DM. So that is something important to keep in mind. Then, Amber Mammoth. This one is specific in that you can quick effect negate an activation of an opponent's card or effect that targets your Crystal Beast cards or the Advanced Dark Field spell. And then once per turn, when your Advanced Crystal Beast monster is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack. This is a significantly better version of Amber Mammoth, which Amber Mammoth is one of the brickier Crystal Beasts. Most of them are. This one, you can make the card attack this card instead. It can protect a Crystal Beast that you don't want destroyed for whatever reason, and this one takes the front of it instead. But the Amber Mammoth is a built-in negate of 2 different types, which is very good to protect the field spell, to protect your Advanced Crystal Beast cards. Negating an ability is very good. Negating an attack is also good, so that's nice. Topaz Tiger is all Advanced Crystal Beast monsters gain 400 attack. Also, monsters your opponents control lose 400 attack and defense. A blanket increase and reduction of the opponent can be meaningful in a domain game where more often than not the battle phase does matter, so cards like this are good. The original Topaz Tiger just gains 400 attack during the damage step only if it attacks an opponent's monster. Becoming a 2k beat stick is not bad, however, there's better options, but arguably Topaz Tiger is one of the less brickier monsters of the Crystal Beasts. That is saying something, because it's not very good. Advanced Cobalt Eagle can be pitched from hand or field to the grave to add a Advanced Dark from deck to your hand. This is the premier way of searching out the field spell that we need for the advanced area of the deck. Then you can target an Advanced Crystal Beast card you control, return it to the hand, or place it on top of the deck. Regular Cobalt Eagle can target a face-up Crystal Beast card you control, return the target to the top of the deck. This can protect a card. It can be meaningful if you want to just recur an effect. You could bounce Sapphire to the top to resummon it next turn. That could be very good. Cobalt Eagle can do something very similar, but it can also just send it directly to the hand, which is a little better. That way you're not drawing the same card. You pitch it to hand, recur the effect, draw a new card. Advanced Amethyst Cat can make your Advanced Crystal Beast monsters attack directly, but they their damage is halved. This is similar to Amethyst Cat itself, where it can attack directly, but its damage is halved. The ability to attack directly can be meaningful if your board is full of the dark versions. They're getting a little bit of a buff from Topaz Tiger. It makes that half damage a little better. This could just be the closing out you need to bypass an annoying card on board. Advanced Emerald Tortoise. Quick effect, you can target one face-up monster on the field and change its battle position. This could be very useful to prevent an attack or prevent an annoying effect on a card. Ironically, this can mess with Baguska if you're dealing with that on board, like a stall tactic. Then Emerald Tortoise is that you can target one monster you control and change the target to defense position. This can save you some damage. It can be useful. Keep it in mind. Then there is the extremely powerful Advanced Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. This card can bring itself up out of Spell and Trap in comparison to the regular Carbuncle. However, this can only special summon Advanced Crystal Beast monsters, not the other ones. So, while this card can bring itself up and then others that are with it, the difference is that Ruby Carbuncle, when special summoned, can summon as many just Crystal Beast cards, it could be advanced or regular, as possible from Spell and Trap, which is very powerful. The ability to do Advanced Ruby Carbuncle makes the card very annoying because if it's destroyed, it's going to bring itself back up along with everything else destroyed, which can give some resiliency in a game where your cards are being targeted, you're losing your board. You're not quite losing your board because cards like these can bring them back up and go into Link plays, it can go into Xyz plays, it can go into, you know, whatever you're trying to do at the time. Dark Beckoning Beast. The top half of this card doesn't matter because we're not playing the Sacred Beasts. There's a dumpster truck outside, I think, so sorry if that comes up on the mic. However, the one that does matter is during the main phase, you can normal summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense in addition to your normal summoner set. This allows you to do an additional normal summon, which can be very good because of its effect to play out our Grave Squirmer or our Samsara D Lotus. Ironically, it could also summon, I guess you could technically normal summon Tragodia if you wanted. If you had like 3 tributes, I guess you could do that. It'd be dumb, but you could. Point being, it gives you access to Grave Squirmer and Samsara D Lotus to extend it to our Yubel package. Hand traps are DD Crow and Effect Veiler. DD Crow, because we're in Dark, it can rip a graveyard target, which is very good. Effect Veiler, because it is a negate, and we are in a spellcaster domain, so we get access to Effect Veiler. Those are our hand traps. I opted to not run more, mostly because Dimension Shifter is way too demanding of being in the opening hand and in a singleton format. Not going to come up too much, so we're just not dealing with that. We got our Gruesome Grave Squirmer. If you control a Fiend monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can destroy a Yubel or one monster that mentions it in your monster zone. You can banish this card from your grave, special summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your hand or graveyard, except it, and you can only use each of these effects once per turn. This is part of our extension. This allows us to blow up a Yubel, which can trigger the Yubel effects. It can blow up another monster, which, because destruction matters, these destruction effects do send Crystal Beast to the Spell and Trap, which can trigger other cards in our deck. So while it might not seem like these come together, there is some synergy here between the destruction effects and just cards on board that want to be destroyed. So there is a bit of a synergy here between these two different archetypes. Then Samsara D Lotus. You can tribute this card and special summon a Yubel monster from your deck. During your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated, while you control a Yubel monster, quick effect, you can tribute this card. The activated effect becomes destroy a Yubel monster on the field. Effectively a negate, it turns off the card, changes what it does. Then during the end phase, if you control Yubel and this card is in your grave, you can add this card to your hand or special summon it. You can only use each effective Samsara D-Lotus once per turn. This card is just continually bringing itself back, which is very powerful. It's always resummoning a Yubel. It's doing something. Very good effect, very good card. This can be a phenomenal deck master if you're opting for more of a pure Yubel Dark Fiend, like Unchained package, which would be very good as a domain deck. Now we're moving on to the spells. We're starting us off as Mature Chronicle. A continuous spell card with each time a monster is special summoned that is a Yubel monster or mentions Yubel, you place a Chronicle counter on this card. You can remove Chronicle counters from your field to activate one of these effects. The first one is you can special summon a Yubel from grave. You can add one of your banished cards to your hand for 2. For 3, you can banish a card from your deck. 4, you could destroy one card on the field. And 5, you could tutor out a Super Poly from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Mature Chronicle once per turn. It just gives you a varying list of effects that can be useful at different parts of the game. Then we have Nightmare Pain, another continuous spell card. During your main phase, you can destroy one dark monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, you will add one Yubel or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except Nightmare Pain. You can only use this effect of Nightmare Pain once per turn. While you control a Yubel monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack Yubel monsters. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving your Yubel monsters. Yubel already redirects attacks. Nightmare Pain doubles that damage, which can be very, very powerful. This card is extremely dangerous. It will usually paint a target on your back, but if it does stick, and they cannot answer it, they have to attack you if they have monsters. They're going to kill themselves with this, which is very powerful. Opening of the Spirit Gates. Dark Beckoning Beast can search this because this card specifically names the Sacred Beasts. So with Dark Beckoning Beast, you don't get the Sacred Beasts, you get a card that names them, which is Opening of the Spirit Gates. When this card is activated, you can add one of those Sacred Beasts or a monster that specifically lists any of those cards in its text from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can discard one card. Special summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your grave. This can target like Grave Squirmer, Lotus for whatever reason, Dark Beckoning Beast, Tragodia, the Yubel monsters. Very powerful. Once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, you can add one continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand, which allows us to recur some of the Crystal Beast continuous spells, Nightmare Pain, Mature Chronicle. This is synergistic with what we're doing, but it could also target the pivotal Crystal Beast continuous spell, Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Crystal Beast monster in addition to your normal summon. So this card, double Crystal Beast normal summons, which is very powerful, especially when we have access to Sapphire Pegasus, and then like Advanced Sapphire Pegasus hypothetically, or like you could do normal summon like Crystal Master into Sapphire Pegasus to get like the double normal, which is very good. During your main phase, you can destroy one Crystal Beast card you control or in your hand, and if you do, you will add a Crystal Spell or Trap from deck to hand. If a Crystal Beast card or cards is placed in your spell and trap card zone, even during the damage step, you can target one card your opponent controls, return both that card and this card to the hand. This is Crystal Conclave, but more powerful. It can blow up your own cards, which triggers their effects, and also bounces their cards, which is good for control. Supply Squad. Once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, draw a card. Synergistic. We want to blow up Yubel. We want to sometimes blow up the Crystal Beasts. They get blown up either by us or by battle, whatever. We're drawing cards. Very good. Golden Rule is always treated as a crystal card. This is the ability to reanimate a Crystal Beast monster, as well as take 2 different ones and put them face up as spell and trap card in the spell and trap card zone as continuous spells. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. This card is extremely good. You can search this with Crystal Master because it is always treated as a crystal card. This can heavily extend your plays. It can also get you to a turn 1 Rainbow Dragon, depending on your sequencing, which could be very good. Advanced Dark is our pivotal field spell of the deck. There are 3 field spells in the deck. This one is the main one that we want the most in play, because without it, we cannot play the advanced Crystal Beast monsters, very pivotal to the deck. Another thing with it is that all Crystal Beast monsters on the field and in the grave become dark. This is relevant to literally the entire strategy, in that they become dark type, which allows for some of our other cards to affect them. This allows Rainbow Dark to see them as dark types to summon out Rainbow Dark Dragon. If an ultimate crystal monster attacks, negate the effects of the attack target during that battle phase. This could be helpful in turning off a tower monster. You know, you beat over it, well, you go to attack, you negate their effects, you get rid of the problem. During damage calc, if a Crystal Beast monster you control battles and you would take damage, you can send a Crystal Beast monster from your deck to the grave, and then you take no battle damage. Milling out Crystal Beast is a very powerful effect. This is a foolish burial every time something would get blown up, which is very good. Then, a card we talked about in my last video, I believe my last video, was Multi-Universe. We talked about this card already. This card is pivotal for decks that need their field spells. Then, speaking of, another field spell, Nightmare Throne. This is Yubel's field spell. When this card is activated, you can take a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your deck and either add it to your hand or destroy it. Once per turn, if a face-up Yubel monster you control leaves the field by card effect, you can add to your hand one Yubel monster from your deck, graveyard, or banish, whose original level is 1 higher or lower than one of those monsters. Then you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only activate 1 Nightmare Throne per turn. This card is very powerful, very expensive, $40, yikes, but very good for the Yubel package. Crystal Aegis. This is a normal spell that you can target a Crystal Beast monster you control, destroy it, then special summon a copy of it that is a Crystal Beast token. Then if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap while this card is in your grave, even during the damage step, you can banish it and special summon a Crystal Beast monster from your spell and trap card zone. This could be Carbuncle to extend your board, send out a flood of guys to the board. Blowing them up sends them to spell and trap, which is synergistic with what we're doing. Making a token is also fine because it's an additional copy of the card on board. Easy money, very good card. Crystal Beacon, special summon a Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but you must have 2 or more in your spell and trap cards to activate and to resolve this effect. This could just rip out a guy you want to put it on board. Crystal Blessing, target up to 2 Crystal Beast monsters in your grave, put them in your spell and trap card zone. Recurring guys from graveyard that you want to reuse. Crystal Bond, this card actually has Jesse on the artwork. This is not the only time he features on a card, which is weird that he appears on more card arts than Jaden does, which is odd, because he's not even the main character of his series. But anyways, Crystal Bond is add a Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand, and 1 Crystal Beast monster with a different name from your deck to your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. This is bread and butter of the deck. I remember when this card was like $30 and I bought a playset of it. Now it's been reprinted to hell and back, and it is 28 cents. Yikes. Anyways, this spell is very pivotal to the strategy and allows us to extend our plays by getting another Pegasus and stuff vital to the spell trap and the spell and trap, like Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon or Carbuncle. Dark Hole, board wipe. Giant Trunade, spell board wipe. Returning them to the hand is why we're doing this over Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm destroys all spell and traps, and we don't necessarily want that. There are times where Giant Trunade is better, and in this case it is for this deck. We want to be able to get our stuff back, not necessarily send it to the graveyard where it's a little bit harder to get back. So, we fill up our spell and trap, but we need a board wipe. Giant Trunade is the better answer for our strategy versus Heavy Storm, if that makes sense. Graceful Charity, draw cards. 1 for 1. We're playing level 1 monsters. 1 for 1 is very good with them. Of course, we're going to play 1 for 1. Painful Choice. It's extremely powerful mill. Targeted mill. Make the opponent make a painful choice. Pot of Greed. Why wouldn't we? It's legal in Domain. I'm gonna run it. You know, if you're not, well, you're wrong. Rainbow Bridge. It's a tutor. It's like the bookmark for Toon monsters, but like Crystal's the better archetype, so it's a better card. Add a Crystal spell and trap from deck to your hand. Really simple, very powerful. Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. You can reveal a Crystal monster in your hand, then activate one of these effects. If you control an Ultimate Crystal monster on field, you can activate both of them if you want. The first one is you can take a Rainbow Bridge or Rainbow Refraction from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the grave. Normally what we do here is we activate this card and we rip out Rainbow Bridge of Salvation and send it to the graveyard, which is very good, because then we can trigger its ability to tutor out a field spell. Very good stuff. Or you can summon a Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or grave, or spell and trap. Also very good. It's a quick play, so you can do this on the opponent's turn, which could be very good to disrupt a play, disrupt a targeting of something. You get it. It's very good. Call by the Grave, because we don't like hand traps, and also we don't like things coming out of the grave. Get rid of DPE. Plain and simple. Solves all your problems. Mass Change 2, because of course we're going to play a small but cute package of hero monsters for Jaden. We got a Masked Hero Divine Wind and a Dark Law because we don't like having friends. Divine Wind, it can't be blown up by battle, and you draw a card if it destroys a guy. And then Dark Law is Macrocosmos on wheels. Why would we not want to do that to the people that we're trying to make friendly games with? This card might be a mistake. Anyways, Dark Law, Divine Wind is our Masked Hero 2 package. Then, of course, the deadly but powerful Super Poly. It would not be a Yubel deck without Super Polymerization, where we get access to things like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and Garua Rings of Resonant Life. Very powerful generic fusion monsters that are good to use the opponent's board with. But we're not done with Super Poly, because we have cards like Eternal Favorite, which, with the Yubel deck, can Super Poly the entire board into Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever, or the new upcoming Phantom of Yubel, which comes out in the next Battles of Legends set. This card's going to be a secret rare, so it's going to be like $100, totally fine. And will skyrocket Yubel even further into competitive viability. But first, we have Loving Defender Forever, which is, I'm sure most of you are familiar with. This card is extremely powerful. Yubel, as an archetype, kind of gained, like, a, Gusto, like, Sfreeze gimmick, where it wants to, like, beat into the opponent and, like, send the damage back, to, like, not kamikaze, because, like, the thing with, Gusto was it was, like, you would just dive bomb your idiot birds into people and they would die for it, where Yubel doesn't get blown up. So instead, it's just, like, this immortal demon just beating the crap out of itself to beat the opponent. Then we have the rest of our traps. We have Crystal Brilliance. This card allows us to gain attack. Each Crystal Beast monster will gain attack equal to its original defense. This makes Sapphire Pegasus a 3k, which is very funny. Then if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap, even during the damage step, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard and special summon a Crystal Beast monster from hand or graveyard, and also any damage you take this turn is halved. This can save you from death. Crystal Conclave, it's Rainbow Bridge, but worse. Rainbow Bridge to the heart, anyways. Once per turn, if a face-up Crystal Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Crystal Beast monster from your deck. Also very good. Then you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard. Target one Crystal Beast card you control, and one on the field. Return them to the hand. And then you can not activate these effects in the same chain. The namesake of the famous Conclave Control Crystal Beast deck. Is this card still the house that it was? Kind of. It's still very good. But with time passing, Rainbow Bridge of the Heart and Golden Rule have kind of changed this deck to actually be able to, like, turn one the fusion. Where Crystal Conclave is still good, but not really what we're relying on strongly. Crystal Miracle is a negate. Very good. And then if it's in grave, you can banish it and target one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard and face up in your spell and trap card zone, or put it face up in your spell and trap card zone. Very good effect. Crystal Boon allows you to special summon up to 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your spell and trap card zone and then gain life equal to their combined original attack. Gaining life points is niche, but it could save you in a game of Domain where life point gain does matter. Mirror Force, because duh. Torrential Tribute, also because duh. Torrential Tribute is very good in this deck because it destroys all monsters, and destruction means that they all go to the spell and trap card zone, which is very good. Also because destroying all monsters is good in a 4-player game. Then, to the extra deck where we haven't talked about it yet, we've got Rainbow Overdragon and Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. They kind of do similar things, but Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive is the main target of our fusion summoning because it becomes a 11k beat stick that can nuke everything on board, and then afterwards you special summon any number of your banished Crystal Beast monsters on an empty board that is usually lethal. which could be very good. We did talk about it briefly. Loving Defender Forever. If this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each material used. Because this card is going to eat everything on board, it's going to hit them for a lot of damage. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step of this card, battle an opponent's monster. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to that opponent's monster's attack. And if you do, you banish it. So even if you can't destroy it, you're going to banish it and then hit them for the attack, which is very good. This card is extremely powerful. Then we got the upcoming Phantom of Yubel. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck or extra deck. So it's a contact fusion. It cannot be used as fusion material. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no damage from battles involving this card. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can tribute this card. The activated effect becomes your opponent destroys one Yubel monster in their hand, deck, or field. This allows you to... It literally negates their card and makes it where it only does a good thing for you, which is so... This card's absurd. This card is going to be extremely powerful. Starving Venom, Fusion, Dragon, Generic, you know, we talked about these four, Garura included. These are our Super Poly targets, and then our Mass Change targets. Then we have Super Star Slayer, Typhon. During the turn or turn after your opponent has summoned 2 or more monsters from the extra deck, you can also exceed summon this card by using one monster you control with the highest attack. And if you do, you cannot normal summon or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn while this Exceeds monster is on the field. Neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack. Once per turn, you can detach one monster from this card or return one monster from the field to the hand. This is a good counter to Zeus, which we might encounter. It is dark and it is easy to summon, which is why we're going to be using it. And then, similar, we got Varudas, the final bringer of the end times. This is just very synonymous with Yubel currently. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate it. Then you can detach one material from this card, then destroy one card on the field. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks while it has material, you can destroy one card on the field. If this Seize monster card is destroyed, you can destroy one card on the field. This thing is going to blow up a lot of things. That's kind of what it does. It just nukes everything. Access Code Talker, this closes out games. Dark, because we, Dark the Dark Charmer, because we are playing a dark deck, and a lot of decks are going to be dark. Very common and easy to do. Selene, this is good for extending. It could also special summon spellcasters, which can bring back, Adularia, or, ironically, Effect Veiler, if we felt like it. This card's just a good extender for what we're doing. McCracker, MBT from the Underworld. Cannot be used as Link material the turn it is Link summoned if a monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect. You contribute 1 to Fiend monster instead. You can target a Fiend monster in your graveyard except MBT from the Underworld. Discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon that monster. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Fiend monsters. This is part of our Fiend package. It's an extender. Same thing with IP Masquerena. It's dark. We have access to it. And this allows us to Link summon on the opponent's turn, which can be for Selene or Access Code Talker. I might tweak around with other concepts for Link monsters in this deck, but currently I'm very satisfied with this extra deck. And lastly, our deck Master. Crystal Master, a dark spellcaster pendulum monster. Its pendulum effect is your opponent cannot target ultimate crystal monsters or crystal beast cards you control with card effects. Not coming up too often, but it is a pretty good protection ability. Then, monster effect. You contribute this card, add a crystal, ultimate crystal monster, crystal beast monster, or crystal spell and trap from your deck to your hand. It searches everything in the deck. Everything we need. This is probably going to become my favorite DM for the archetype after I play with it more, but I feel like this card is really, really good. Well, that does everything for this deck profile. 40 minutes later, hope you're still here. If you are, I appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with me through the entire thing. And if you are still here, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and anything else you'd like to see on the channel. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a good day. I hope Jesse and their voice actors have a wonderful birthday today. I will be celebrating by posting a 40-minute deck profile. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.